right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called On the Threshold of Space, 1956. Giving this 1 out of 5 stars. I hate this flick. Unless you're into space race, space exploration, Air Force, human experimentation, you're not going to like this one. It's just a reenactment of tests that they did with a 1,000-mile-per-hour sled and a rail full of water. One of the Air Force military superiors tries it, and he loses his eyesight for a while. He's got retina condition, and then he gains it back. He sort of takes over from the other guy who wants to do the gondola that goes up 160,000 feet into outer space. And there's this young doctor guy who marries his secretary there. Not the secretary, but the lady who makes the helmets, I guess. This was a double feature drive-in with the 4D Man that I was watching on the Drunk Reviews channel. So right now I'm watching 4D Man, and I thought I'd watch both of them since it was a double feature, but this one was a real stinker. Okay, so the young doctor guy, he takes a jumping class, and before you know it, he's doing all kinds of human experimentation. Sort of like what they're doing with the vaccines, treating us like lab animals, guinea pigs.
Yeah, I saw a video of a nurse fainting after she was forced to take COVID vaccine.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of hospital people won't take it, like less than half are willing to take it. Anyways, it was kind of interesting to watch two 1956 films back to back. When you see the space race leading up to the Soviet Sputnik and then NASA and the man on the moon. It only took NASA 13 years to get a man on the moon. Anyways, I used to think, astronauts were the most courageous and venerable people on the planet. In fact, when I was in kindergarten, preschool, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Everybody in preschool would say that. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be an engineer. I want to be Bobby Gopher.
But then when I went to college, I wanted to be an investment banker. Of course, I couldn't do much with a business degree, but and then I was saddled with like $100,000 in debt. 2 years of private college. I just wanted to pay that off, save my money. I learned that being miserly and saving money is more important than becoming an astronaut or an investment banker. Now I've got dang close to $300,000 in my retirement account. I'm doing pretty good. At age 50, I think I'm going to have more than enough to retire someplace cheap like Wyoming or or maybe some South American country. Anyways, getting back to On the Threshold of Space. So this doctor guy, he does an experiment where he's like jumping from 60,000 feet or something ridiculous. I think they exaggerated it because I think the Air Force was only doing 10,000 feet. And he's saying that he has to thrash around to avoid spinning like a top as he goes down on his parachute. And yeah, it's just trial and error kind of thing. One guy keeps breaking his arm when he goes out of the ejector seat. Or one guy did break his arm when he went out of the ejector seat, so the doctor went up and tried it, and he broke his arm too. But he's a doctor, so he can supposedly assess the medical situation while he's floating downward or something. I don't know. And then his superior is gone. Some other dude who's not interested in space exploration comes in and sort of poo-poos the idea of the gondola thing at 160,000 feet or whatever it is, 170,000 feet, whatever it is. It's this giant balloon that has this little pod that they sit in, and they're supposed to jump from like 60,000 feet or something. I'm not real sure, but eventually the feds get the idea that it's something they have to really pursue, the space exploration gondola thing. And so the superior, who has a retina problem, ends up losing his eyesight for about 5 minutes after going the 1,000-mile-an-hour sled in the water, the rail thing. He capitulates and he lets the doctor go up in the gondola to outer space. There's a problem. He loses oxygen, so he has to detach his pod in a smaller chute, I guess. So he's in the pod chute, and then another chute comes out, and he ends up crashing into some mountainous area, very dangerous. And there's a nice kind of gung-ho hero message at the end. And his wife is all worried, sick, that he's going to die or whatever. The whole time. His radio goes out, his oxygen goes out. He has to go in his little pod chutes. And that's pretty much the movie. It's an hour and 38 minutes. But it seemed like it dragged on a really long time. And it's 1950s advent of faster jets and bombers that could fly higher. The problem of the safe bailout system arises. Also a looming space race against the Soviet forces from the U.S. Air Force to design and test ejection systems that could be used in experimental plans or future spacecraft. It should say human experiment. Can a human withstand the blunt physical forces at play during an ejection from a high-flying aircraft, and also during the rough descent toward the Earth. That's where aerospace medicine comes in. Captain Jim Hodiak, a doctor working for the space branch of the United States Air Force Medical Corps. There's even the United States Air Force Surgeon General. So the Space Force didn't start with Donald Trump. It started in the 1950s with the U.S. Air Force. Pretty interesting. Hollenbeck is asked to test a balloon gondola designed to carry a human way up in the air. Pretty interesting. Risky tests leading up to the goal of manned space flights. Yeah, it's very technical. It's all methods of jumping from high altitude crafts, like the flailing thing that I mentioned. Pretty boring. Not a good flick. Looking forward to 4D Man, though. That was one that homeboy recommended to me, and I went for the double feature, and I got stuck with the first feature, which was a real stinker. So 1 out of 5 stars. Not going to say highly recommend it or check it out. I'm just going to end it here, and I'll say skip it. Laters.